Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Monday, March the 21st, and welcome to our commentary. There's a few things that we want to get around today, but before I do, I want to remind you that later this afternoon, it'll be available in my blog in the early evening, and it'll be there for the next 24 hours. We're going to do our weekly in review, the week in review, with our friend Bill Katz, the editor of Urgent Agenda. We're going to take a look at the stories of the week. And obviously, there's a lot of them. Ukraine is one of them, but there's lots of stories that we're going to get into. So I'm going to recommend that you look for that when it gets posted in my Facebook page or wherever we post it, my blog or wherever else we post it. Check it out because these are always good exchanges that we have with Bill, and his blog, Urgent Agenda, is one of the better ones out there. So check that out later today, Monday afternoon. A couple of things that I want to talk about today. The first one is, of course, we have a new nominee for the Supreme Court. Her name is Judge Brown Jackson. That is her name. And much was made out of the fact that she was the first African American, would be the first African American woman in the Supreme Court, and I have no problem with that. I mean, I think that the Supreme Court should be for the best among us, the best jurists, the best justices who understand the role of the Supreme Court. And that's where I have some concerns with Justice Brown Jackson. And I've heard a lot of things, and I'm going to give her an opportunity to explain herself. For example, I'm concerned about some of her opinions when it comes to crime. It sure looks to me like she in the past has been easy on criminals. Maybe that was not true. Maybe that's not true. Maybe she can explain or we can see more evidence. But I think we need to know. We need to know more about her record as a judge as it pertains to crime, particularly at a time when you can see crime just devastating our cities, and especially devastating many of the African American neighborhoods in our country. So I want to hear about that. I want to hear about her position on abortion, because even though I'm convinced that the Supreme Court is going to overturn Roe v. Wade here in the next couple of months, her position on late-term abortion is very troubling. The idea that she would favor late-term abortion as some kind of a constitutional right, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. So let's hear what she has to say about late-term abortion. I'm also very concerned about her point of view with respect to packing the court. Now, there is word out there, and I want to hear from the judge herself, but there's word out there that she has written things that would favor the idea of packing the court. I think packing the court would destroy our Constitution and would destroy our federal government. So that's why I've never been a fan of packing the court. I think the judges are what they are, and they reflect elections. That's what they reflect. That's why you have 6 appointed by Republicans and 3 appointed by Democrats, or 2, soon will be 3, we believe, with this lady, Judge Brown Jackson. But the reason you have 6 Republicans is because they were appointed by Republican presidents. And that's just the way the system goes. It's cyclical. You might say it's cyclical, but that's the way it goes. Packing the court, I think, would be a terrible mistake, an absolutely terrible mistake that would forever change the way we do business under our constitutional form of government. So I would like to hear from the judge exactly what her position is when it comes to packing the court. Is she in favor of that? Is she against it? Now, I don't think, to be fair to the judge, I don't think that justices decide whether or not it's constitutional to pack the court, because that's done by the Congress, not done by the judges. But I am anxious to hear her point of view on that, whether she believes as I do, or whether she believes what I believe, that packing the court would be a serious mistake for our form of government. We tried it back in the 1930s, as you recall, under FDR. FDR tried to pack the court. It became a huge political disaster for him, and he ended up taking very significant losses in the 1938 midterms. I don't know what's going to happen this time, but I want to know where this lady judge stands on packing the court, crime, late term abortion. I just want to know where she stands on these things. And it's perfectly legitimate for the Senate to ask questions based on her opinions. Now, we're not going to see the clown show that we saw with Kavanaugh, in the sense that we're not going to have people showing up from her past. So, as somebody who knew her when she was 17 years old, we're not going to have that, because that's not going to happen with this lady. And it's because the Republicans are not going to tolerate that. So you're not going to have somebody coming out of the blue a week from now saying that when she was 17 or she was 15 or something like that, as they did with Kavanaugh. We're not going to have that. And that's a good thing. But this lady should be required to answer questions. And that's, to me, a perfectly legitimate procedure for a lady who wants to be in the Supreme Court and have a lifetime position. Remember, justices to the Supreme Court, they're there for lifetime. It's a lifetime position. You know, they can only leave if they want to leave, if they resign or if they pass away, but they're there for life. It's a lifetime position. And I think the American people need to know what makes her tick. What is exactly her judicial philosophy? You know, what does she think about lots of different issues? And that's what I think is going to happen in these hearings. And there are some very good senators on that committee, like Ted Cruz, for example, who I think will be asking some very direct questions. And I hope the lady answers them. Now, at the moment, I think she will get in. I really do. I think she'll get the 51 votes to get in. But she's in right now, has a very close margin. And if her opinions or the way she answers questions begins to portray the image of a very liberal judge, and I think that could have an impact on a certain Democrat named Joe Manchin of West Virginia, who I don't think wants to put a very liberal judge in the court. So we'll see how it all comes out. But I'm pretty sure that it will be done in a very diplomatic and presentable and decent way. And you're not going to have a repeat of the clown show that we had with Kavanaugh, which was disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful, the way that man, his wife, and kids were treated on national television. The other big story, and we're going to get into this in great detail with Bill Katz later in the podcast, we're going to talk a lot about the Hunter Biden story. You know, I'm concerned. I don't know where this Hunter Biden story is going to go. I know that there's a lot of people who are saying that, you know, he's going to be indicted. Nobody really knows anything other than he's under investigation. And I would simply suggest to everybody to cool off and just let the process take its course. He's obviously being investigated. It has something to do with taxes, and whether there is a connection to his father or not, well, we'll find out, because it's all headed, you know, it's all coming to an end, as they say, in this investigation. We'll see what happens. But I think the fact that the American people were denied the opportunity to even talk about this article that the New York Post published back in October of 2020, I think that's a black eye for the media, and something that I think will simply confirm the views of a lot of Americans that the media in 2020 was in the tank for the Democrats. And when you look at the Hunter Biden story, and when you look at the way that Biden was able to campaign from the basement of his house without having to really answer a lot of questions, I think when you see that, you can certainly understand why a lot of Americans feel that way. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And once again, let me remind you that we'll be chatting with Bill Katz, the editor of Urgent Agenda, later Monday afternoon. Bye-bye, everybody. Enjoy yourself. And if you live in the Dallas area, make sure you bring an umbrella, because we're going to get a lot of rain today. This is going to be a rainy day, one of those rain 100% days. That's what we're going to get in the North Texas area today. Nothing but rain today. So make sure you got an umbrella, or make sure you are patient when you're driving, because people around here, they get a little crazy when they have to drive in the rain. Bye-bye, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, and we'll talk to you